the next 9 hours, someone very close to your heart is about to depart from a place in your life where they have stood for a long time. And I am telling you this not to bring fear, but to open your eyes to what is shifting beneath the surface. For many seasons you have carried this person in your spirit, prayed for them, believed for their change, stood by them even when the weight became unbearable. And now, the hour of separation has come, not as a punishment, not as a tragedy, but as a divine rearrangement that must take place for what I am bringing next. Do not misunderstand my words. I am not removing them from the earth. I am removing them from a position in your journey that they can no longer occupy. For where I am taking you, not every familiar voice can travel. Not every companion can move forward with you. Some connections have reached their appointed time, and the season is shifting with the force of my will. There are moments in a person's walk when the transition becomes so intense that only those who are spiritually awake can perceive its purpose. You have felt the tremors of this shift for weeks, but you ignored them because you did not want to face the emotional cost of what obedience requires. Yet I am telling you now, the next 9 hours carry weight in the realm of the spirit, and if you listen carefully, I will show you exactly why this separation must take place. You have asked me many times, Lord, why does it feel like everything around me is tightening? Why do I feel pressure from every direction? Why does it feel like the people I trusted are becoming distant? My child, this pressure is not against you. It is for you. It is the hand of transformation pressing you into the place where my voice becomes louder than every other voice. What you are feeling is the cutting away of what cannot enter the next chapter of your destiny. You have cried for elevation, for clarity, for purpose, for breakthrough, but breakthrough is not simply what I give you. Breakthrough is what I make room for by removing what stands in the way. There is someone whose presence in your life has become a weight without you realizing it. Their intentions are not evil, but their alignment is no longer connected to the direction you are moving toward. They have been walking with you out of habit, not purpose. And now the moment has arrived where their chapter must close, not in conflict, not in chaos, but in the silent work of my spirit. In the next 9 hours, a shift will take place. A conversation, an event, a realization, a divine pause. And it will make clear to you that they can no longer stay in the space you kept for them. You will try to hold on for a moment, but my peace will surround you, and you will know that this is me. I am speaking this to you now because I do not want you to interpret this shift as rejection. It is protection. It is positioning. It is preparation. You have prayed for deeper wisdom, but wisdom is often born in uncomfortable transitions. You have asked for strength, but strength is often shaped by the weight of surrender. You have asked me to align your life with my will, and this alignment begins with removing what is misaligned. Do not fear this separation. You will not lose what is meant to stay. You will not be abandoned, nor will you walk alone. The person whose role is changing was never meant to carry you into the place that I have prepared. I am the one who carries you. I am the one who sustains you. I am the one who breathes purpose into your next steps. There are some attachments that slow your spiritual acceleration because you are trying to pull someone with you who has stopped moving. And now I am gently freeing your hands so that you can rise. Hear me clearly. This will not break you. This will build you. You have been asking for confirmation, and I am giving it to you now. I am preparing your heart so that when the moment arrives, you will not respond with frustration, confusion, or grief, but with understanding. You will say within yourself, "The Lord told me this was coming." And instead of collapsing under the weight of the unknown, you will rise with a new strength. Because obedience unlocks clarity, and clarity removes anxiety. Do not try to rescue what I am intentionally shifting. Do not try to hold still what my spirit is moving. Do not attempt to preserve what no longer carries grace. There is a difference between loyalty and spiritual stagnation. You have been loyal, but now it is time to obey. The next 9 hours will not be chaotic, but they will be significant. I am not bringing disaster. I am bringing alignment. I am not bringing sorrow. I am bringing clarity. I am not taking something away from you. I am making room for what you have prayed for but were not ready to receive. You stood before me many times and asked for increase. Now I am removing the decrease. You asked for doors to open. Now I am closing the old ones. You asked for peace. Now I am silencing the voices that disturbed your spirit. You asked for purpose. Now I am releasing you from the distractions that kept you from seeing it. In this next window of time, your spiritual senses will sharpen. You will notice things you did not notice before. You will understand conversations with a new level of discernment. You will see the intentions of hearts, where they stand, where they are drifting, and where they are no longer connected to your calling. Not everybody who loves you is assigned to walk with you forever. Some people are gifts for a season, and when the season changes, the gift changes form. They may no longer be present, but their impact remains. And what remains becomes part of the foundation for where I am leading you. What I am about to do in your life requires focus. It requires emotional discipline. It requires spiritual sensitivity. It requires a heart that is free from unnecessary attachments. You cannot enter the next level with voices around you that drain your energy, confuse your direction, or pull you into cycles that I have already delivered you from. I am breaking cycles. I am ending emotional patterns. I am shutting doors that you did not have the strength to shut. I am lifting burdens that you carried quietly. The separation that is coming is part of the cleansing. Do not hold on to what is fading. Let the fading complete its purpose. Some relationships do not end because of failure. They end because their assignment is fulfilled. You have outgrown certain patterns, and with growth comes separation. It is not rebellion. It is evolution. It is not betrayal. It is transformation. When I shift you, I do not require permission from the people around you. I only require your obedience. The one whose role is changing will not be removed violently. It will happen like a leaf falling from a tree, softly, naturally, gently. It will not rip. It will release. And the moment it releases, something inside you will breathe again. You will feel lighter. You will feel clearer. You will feel renewed. You will feel free in a way you forgot was possible. You have been walking with a weight that your heart adapted to. But adaptation is not my will for you. I did not create you to survive emotional heaviness. I created you to carry my glory. You cannot carry both. And so I am lifting one to make room for the other. In the next 9 hours, when the shift begins, do not panic. Do not question me. Do not assume the enemy is moving. I am the one moving. I am the one adjusting. I am the one rearranging. The enemy would bring confusion, but I am bringing order. The enemy would bring confusion, but I am bringing understanding. The enemy would bring fear, but I am bringing peace. When the conversation takes place, or when the distance becomes undeniable, or when the silence sets in, remember these words. I am in this. You will not lose anything that is part of your destiny. You may release something that was part of your comfort, but comfort is not the same as calling. Your calling is higher. Your calling is deeper. Your calling is weightier. And with greater calling comes greater pruning. When this separation completes its purpose, I will bring into your life what aligns with where you are going. New voices, new clarity, new assignments, new doors. I am not taking without giving. I am not closing without opening. I am not removing without replacing. You will not end this season empty-handed. You will step into a space where the right people will walk with you, pray with you, build with you, and strengthen you in ways you have not experienced before. The shift is not punishment. It is promotion. And now, my child, as you walk through this hour of separation that is unfolding, understand that this is not a new thing I am doing. This is the pattern through which I have always elevated those whom I have chosen. Whenever I prepare a vessel for a greater assignment, I separate them from what cannot follow them. This is the way I have always worked, and my people who walked with me before you experienced this same release, this same divine division, this same holy rearrangement. And because the hearts of many today have grown unfamiliar with my ways, they mistake separation for loss, when it is actually the doorway to destiny. When I called Abraham, I did not begin by telling him where he would end up. I began by commanding a separation. I told him to leave his country, his father's household, and everything that defined him. But Abraham, out of affection and familiarity, chose to bring Lot with him. He loved Lot. His heart was attached to him. Yet even though Lot was not evil, he was not assigned to Abraham's journey. And as long as Abraham walked with what I did not command him to carry, there could be no clarity in the path ahead. Both of their herds grew, both of their blessings increased, but tension also increased, because where there is misalignment, there will always be conflict. I allowed the herdsmen to clash. It was not to create chaos. It was to push Abraham into the separation he avoided. And the moment Abraham and Lot parted ways, I spoke a word I had withheld until that moment. Only after the separation did I say, "Lift up your eyes. My child, do you see the pattern? There are words I cannot release over you until you let go of what no longer belongs. There are promises I cannot unfold until the person whose season has expired steps aside." Abraham loved Lot, but love is not the measure of divine assignment. Purpose is. And when I separated Samuel from Saul, it was not because Saul never had value. Saul was my chosen king for a season, anointed by my prophet, empowered by my spirit. But Saul's heart drifted. He became more attached to people's approval than to my voice. And because Samuel loved Saul, he mourned. He held on. He wished the relationship could remain. But I came to Samuel and said, "How long will you mourn over him, seeing that I have rejected him from ruling?" I was not rebuking Samuel. I was realigning him. I was showing him that no matter how deeply he cared, the season had changed. And when the season changes, obedience requires release. My child, Samuel could not anoint David until he released Saul. And in your life, you cannot step into the fullness of your next anointing until you allow me to shift the connections that cannot go further with you. There was a moment when the young David, anointed yet not appointed, found himself walking a path that few could understand. Jonathan loved David with a pure heart. Their connection was divine, but even Jonathan, as loyal and righteous as he was, could not accompany David into the wilderness season. I allowed their souls to be knit together, but I also allowed circumstances to separate them, because David had to walk alone into the refining place where kings are formed. David needed voices that strengthened him in the Lord, not voices tied to a royal system I was bringing down. And so I allowed the separation not to break the bond, but to establish the destiny. Some people in your life love you genuinely, but that does not mean they are meant to walk with you into every chapter. Some bonds remain in the heart, but not in the path. And if David had tried to hold Jonathan by force, he would have delayed his own rise. My child, understand this. Not every pure-hearted person is purposed for your next step. Do you remember Elijah and Elisha? Elisha loved Elijah so much that he refused to leave him. He walked with him from Gilgal to Bethel, from Bethel to Jericho, from Jericho to the Jordan. He stayed close because his heart was committed. But the sons of the prophets kept saying, "Do you know your master will be taken from you today?" They were announcing a divine separation. Elisha did not want it, but he accepted it. And when the whirlwind came, when the chariots appeared, when Elijah was taken up, that separation became the release of a double portion. My child, there are separations that feel painful, but they unlock greater power. There are departures that seem sudden, but they release a mantle you could not receive otherwise. You see the loss, but I see the inheritance. You feel the emptiness, but I see the empowerment. And so I separate to elevate. Joseph experienced separation in the harshest form. Removed from his family, misunderstood by his brothers, sold into slavery, isolated in a foreign land. Yet every separation pushed him closer to the throne I prepared for him. Had Joseph remained in the comfort of his father's house, he could not have delivered nations. He could not have interpreted dreams in Egypt. He could not have saved even the very ones who betrayed him. There are separations that feel unjust, but are divinely orchestrated. Joseph wept on the journey, but purpose was unfolding with each tear. Some people who leave your life are not betraying you. They are positioning you. Their absence creates the space necessary for your elevation. Their exit becomes the pathway to your authority. Joseph learned that separation is not always the work of men. Often it is the strategy of God. And remember Moses, the prince of Egypt. Before he could become the deliverer I designed him to be, I separated him from the palace that raised him. He had to leave the environment that shaped him so he could discover the identity I placed within him. He fled into the wilderness where no one knew him, where no one applauded him, where no one expected anything of him. It was in that hidden place, that unfamiliar land, that I revealed my glory to him in the burning bush. Had Moses remained among those who praised him, he would have never learned to lean on me. There are people in your life who give you comfort but cannot give you clarity. And there are seasons where I separate you from applause so you can hear my voice without interference. Lot's wife is another reminder of what happens when someone refuses separation. Her heart was tied so deeply to the relationships and lifestyle of Sodom that even as my angels pulled her out, she still turned back. She could not release what I was removing. She could not let go of the familiar. And because of that, she could not enter the future I prepared. I am telling you this with love and truth. Do not look back at what I am releasing from your life. Do not cling to what I am closing. If you try to hold on to someone whose season is ended, you risk becoming frozen in a place I never intended you to remain. Release is not abandonment. It is obedience. Then consider Gideon. When he gathered an army of 32,000 men, he believed that was the strength he needed for victory. Yet I looked at that crowd and said, too many. I began separating. First, the fearful went home. Then those who drank water without focus were dismissed. The number shrank from thousands to 300. The separation made no sense to Gideon in the natural, but it made perfect sense in the spiritual. I was not reducing his strength. I was refining it. And when the separation was complete, victory came effortlessly because the right people remained. My child, you do not need many. You need the ones I have chosen. And sometimes I must separate you from the crowd so you can stand with the called. Even my son, when he walked on earth, practiced separation. He loved all, healed many, taught multitudes. Yet when the moment came for deeper revelation, he separated himself from the masses. From the 12, he chose 3. And even among the 3, he went alone to pray. He separated himself in the garden to fulfill purpose. And he separated the disciples from certain influences because not every voice could accompany them into the birth of the church. Separation was not rejection. It was preparation. My child, I use separation to shape destiny. When I separate, I am positioning. When I remove, I am replacing. When I shift, I am elevating. This has always been my way. Do you remember Naomi and Ruth? Naomi told her daughters-in-law to return to their homes. Orpah kissed Naomi and walked away, but Ruth clung to her. The separation revealed alignment. And because Ruth remained, she stepped into the lineage of kings, into the ancestry of the Messiah. There are separations that uncover the loyalties of hearts. And sometimes the person who stays is the one whose purpose intertwines with your destiny. But sometimes the one who leaves is fulfilling what I ordained. You must discern the difference. And in this hour I am giving you that discernment. Paul and Barnabas walked together in powerful ministry. They saw miracles, conversions, breakthroughs. Yet there came a moment when their paths divided. Not because one was evil, not because one was wrong, but because their assignments were shifting. That separation birthed 2 ministries instead of one. What felt like conflict in the natural was multiplication in the spirit. My child, when I separate you from certain companions, it is because the next phase of your calling cannot be carried with shared burdens. I multiply impact through divine division. And remember Jonah. Even though he resisted my direction, I separated him from the path he chose until he surrendered to the path I ordained. There are moments when I interrupt your connections, conversations, and environments to steer you toward obedience. The separation is not punishment, it is mercy. Now hear this clearly, every biblical instance of separation carried purpose. Abraham received vision. Samuel anointed the next king. David rose to the throne. Elisha received the double portion. Joseph preserved nations. Moses delivered Israel. Gideon triumphed with 300. Ruth entered covenant blessing. Paul expanded the reach of the gospel. And Jesus himself fulfilled redemption. Separation is the womb of destiny. And now I tell you again, the separation coming around you is not an accident. It is not the enemy, it is me. I am preparing you the same way I prepared those who came before you. I am removing what cannot go further. I am releasing you from emotional weights. I am pulling your heart away from places where destiny cannot grow. I am shifting your relationships so that purpose can breathe. I am surrounding you with those who are aligned and separating you from those who are assigned only to the chapter that is closing. In this hour, do not grieve what I am removing. Do not fight for what I am releasing. Do not cling to what I am shifting. The same God who separated Abraham and blessed him, who separated Joseph and promoted him, who separated David and crowned him, who separated David and crowned him, who separated Paul and multiplied him, this same God is working in your life right now, who separated Paul and multiplied him. This same God is working in your life right now, and when the separation is complete, you will see the glory behind it. You will understand the wisdom in it. You will thank me for the release. You will rejoice in the freedom, and you will say, Lord, your ways are higher, your timing is perfect, and your hand has carried me into the place I was always meant to be. Walk forward without fear. The separation is not the end, it is the beginning. The same God of Abraham, of Joseph, of Moses, of David, of Ruth, of Paul, and of my son is guiding your steps. And what I am doing in you now is preparing you for the greatest season you have ever known.